Alright, so today we are going to be doing something that we usually don't do. Besides making yet another perimeter, we are going to make a perimeter for something to theme around the time that I am recording this, because the video will be out hopefully on a little bit before the end of the year, and end of the year for most people in the US and everywhere else is called Christmas. So we're going to be doing something a little bit to theme it around Christmas. It's not going to be exactly as you would think, but of course to fit that theme, we are also inside of a snowy biome as well as an ice spikes. It just so happened to be a very small one right in the center of the area that wasn't too bad of a place to actually make one. Especially the top terrain isn't the best, but the bottom isn't bad at all, especially because I've been scouring a ton of area over here. As you can see, this one over here and this one down here. There hasn't been a very much great area to, create a perimeter in these snowy biomes. And, kind of picked the best one that I could here. This is 117 terrain, so it's not going to be great, but it's also not going to be the worst ever. But yeah, Cod's working on the trenches right now. I'm going to actually go grab some food, but I wanted to create the first initial clip here. That way you can kind of see what we're doing. But because we already have an ice farm and we really don't need another one, it's actually running right now in the background to prepare for the decoration. Because we do need quite a bit of blue ice for the deco, even though it's going to be themed around this snow stuff on the ground right here. And if you guys do remember the initial ice farm perimeter, you probably remember if you were in the Discord, you probably remember the confrontation that we had between the two different types of floor decos that we were going to originally go for. This one being the marshmallow from Frozen. There was a lot of people that were asking for something else, which is going to be the floor for this one. That way, those people are finally happy, and we're actually going to use that instead of the marshmallow. This was the very first thing that was like our first ever debate in the server. That was like the most heated thing that we ever had, and it was because of a snowman. But yeah, to me, it makes the most sense because marshmallow does have, of course, the ice on them. They have the ice spike coming out of their mouth because they are like a snowman, but they also have the main ice features about within the snowman. So that's why I wanted to use that for the ice farm, and as well, we'll be using Olaf for the floor of this one here because they are more of a snowman. So that's the main reason why I wanted to do that for this perimeter here. Also to make some other people happy that were probably not happy to begin with that initial vote there. But yeah, perimeter is underway. Trenches are going to be made. We are trying to get this done before Christmas at the time, but before the video needs to go up in about 2 weeks from now. So we got 2 weeks to go from start to finish to get this area done and uploaded to YouTube in time for the holiday season. So yeah, get this underway. We'll come back once the road eater, try to do a time lapse of the road eater building because it is a small perimeter. Of course, it's not only going to be a 272. There's really no need to make a snow perimeter for a snow farm, but of course, for the decoration, we always do it here. So yeah, I'll be back once we get these trenches done. It won't be too bad, I hope. There's not too much lava. The hardest part will be the water on top, as you can see, that we'll have to deal with the frozen rivers. But we'll be back once we do some road eater building. Alright, so we did fully build it up. I was gonna actually time-lapse building the world eater. However, I decided against that because what I want to do instead is actually time-lapse running the full road eater because we haven't really done that in a very long time, if ever, on the channel here. So I feel like that would be something different than rather than just time-lapsing yet another road eater. Because this one's also going to be a bit of an annoying one to run because we also can't load or be in survival while we go down by the river layer. Otherwise, a lot of ice can form, and it can form behind the sweepers or right in front of them as they're going across, so we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do is just obviously be in spectator, that way no ice can generate that way. So it kind of helps out there with that instead. But yeah, full thing is built up. We did get through that pretty quickly, actually, with the help of COD here. So that wasn't too bad whatsoever. We didn't really speedrun it. We just wanted to, kind of enjoy and, just do something a bit more technical rather than the things we've been doing recently, which are basically some decorations and stuff. But yeah, whole thing's done here. I'm going to set up here in my spectator mode. We have a bot here, of course, just in case someone disconnects or things like that, because we do have the ice farm running. I guess we're going to see how the server is. Smarter thing probably would be to stop the ice farm. However, that would be the smart thing to do. But yeah, get this thing going, and we'll go on right away to the time lapse. AutoCraft's archive is officially live. It is mainly a collection of all of the perimeter decorations that are on AutoCraft. So if you were ever interested in picking up one of these, now would be the best time to do so. Visit the website linked down below. Alright, so the perimeter is completely cleared out. And we have the floor deco in as well. As you can see, the Olaf that we got made there in the center. I sort of got the Olaf, of course, from Google, but then I added my own little touch in the background for a different type of snowflake. Just adds a bit more color to the background there. That way it's not just, Olaf with the black background. Adds a bit more color, makes it jump out a little bit more, I feel like. Overall, it just looks a little bit better, especially from the map POV. So the snowflake just makes Olaf jump out a little bit more. Obviously, some parts of them kind of blend in, unfortunately, but you still kind of get the general idea of where Olaf is. I mean, it looks like he's losing like a little foot over there, but That is what it is, and overall, it looks pretty good on the map though, so I ain't gonna complain. But yeah, we have the wall decoration here that is actually loaded up in Sync that I actually designed with some help from Happy, which is an old server member. I did ask him about it just because this was, believe it or not, these pillars here were Happy's original ones that we used in the ice farm. These little pillars and the hearts here are Happy's touch for the original ice farm decoration that we had there. I kind of spreaded them out a bit more than they were originally. You can kind of see where the base of the other pillar was right there and up top. But then we added these little icebergs in the center of there as well, on the top, even though it's not, you know, scientifically correct that there's snow on the bottom of the ice cap from the bottom as there is on the top like that, but it looks cool, so we're not going to complain about that. Then I added the snowflake in the center there to make sure you actually knew that it's a snow farm and not for ice, even though a majority of this decoration does consist of a bit of ice. Yeah, 25 shulker boxes of blue ice and about like 34 shulker boxes of packed ice. So there's quite a bit more ice than there is snow. I guess it depends if you consider all the different types of white blocks that we're using, snow as well, but you know, a bunch of other stuff on that too. But yeah, overall, I like this like decoration turned out. You know, there wasn't different talks about what we wanted to do for this, but I think the theme for the snow definitely was going to fit what we're going to be putting in here, which of course are the snow farm, the snowball farm, and maybe a snow layer farm as well. That way we can get both of those all in this area. Of course, we could technically get powdered snow too if we wanted to, but that is what the bucket printer is for right over here that we'll be talking about very, very soon too. But yeah, the ice farm is going strong right now. We got quite a bit of blue ice in the last clip. We got 12 shulker boxes, and we're working on the 13th right over here. It's pretty close to being done there. This one doesn't buffer any shulker boxes, which is good, because obviously it takes about 2 hours or so to fill up a single shulker box of blue ice. This definitely does decrease the amount of boxes we need to use in terms of, you know, having it crafted up or not crafted up front rather than doing it like we're doing now. Because we really don't use a lot of shulker boxes for all of this ice, which is really, really cool. Because we would have had thousands upon thousands of shulker boxes of ice stored up right now. Because this farm has been running for like 2 days almost. So yeah, that would have been a ton of shulker boxes for that to store and then have to craft up later. So this is a much better alternative, which is why I'm super happy that at least some form of AutoCrafting is being added to the game very, very soon. Whether it's not the ideal one that we would like is a different story, but you can't ask for everything. But yeah, full decoration is in. We're starting to gather the materials, but we will have to actually make the farms in the center here to actually get a majority for the snow, stuff like that first, because there is quite a bit of that too. And getting 19 shulker boxes of snow blocks manually, yeah, that's not going to be fun, because that's 19 times 4 times 4, because you only fit 16 snowballs in a slot. So manually getting 300 shulker boxes of snowballs, I'm gonna pass on that one for sure. And we might actually make a snow block crafter, which is pretty simple to do because it's basically like the magma block crafter that we have, as well as the honeycomb. So they're very simple crafters, which you could probably do that too, and maybe have the output of the farms hooked up to go straight to snow blocks. That way we also use a lot less shulker boxes overall as well for the storage. But yeah, all hypothetical stuff right now. We'll see what happens and we'll go from there. But yeah, I do have a decoration. We'll get started on this. Maybe some farms first. Who knows? Alright, so as you can see here, we have the farm being tested in the testing roll that I have right now. They're going to be actually using. And it might look like some things not working, but this is just for like my own testing to see if that one extra slot was what's breaking everything, and it seems that it is, because yeah, we have been running this for about 30 minutes or so right now, and we've been good to go. So I think this is the final version, which is why I am recording right now to kind of show this off before we go ahead and build it in survival. Now, if you do follow someone else that has also been a huge help to the server here, Illyrio recently did post a video on their channel about this certain snowball farm. So this farm, the original concept was based off of Mr. Sethlist and antioxidants. So yeah, so they kind of had an idea. Obviously, we told Illyrio that what we were doing because they are also part of the project channels and things like that of the AutoCraft server. So they are able to see, you know, a little bit more behind the scenes stuff that's going on, like currently, if they're not in the streams and things like that, which this one we wanted to keep under the wraps. Never done a holiday style area, so this is something that we wanted to keep on the DL as we were working on it. But yeah, they modified this farm, made it a bit more efficient and TNT duper, all that stuff. Overall, just looks a lot better as well once it's tiled in a 2x2 cube, which of course we're going to do here. And this one will create about 1.2, 1.3 million snowballs per hour. So this will be plenty for us. Even one of these would be enough, but we're making a whole perimeter, so we might as well go all out and get that for just so we get over that million snowball per hour mark. But yeah, because we have AutoCraft on the server, I did modify the bottom part here. And what we have here is just a slightly modified version of Command Leo's 2x2 one wide tileable crafter here. Obviously, you can use this for, in our case, snow blocks, but we've also used it, I believe, in the Guardian farm for the 2x2 Prismarine, as well as, you know, magma blocks. We probably could have used this over there too if we ever changed those crafters, because those crafters are pretty old that are over there. But yeah, each one of these is capable of crafting 4,500 snow blocks in our case per hour, so it's half hopper speed, which is basically the max you can do for one wide tileable with a hopper underneath rather than a hopper minecart. Command Leo usually has a comparator and dust and observer here to pulse the bottom part, and does require, the downside is it does require a full pre-filling of the dropper and then, you know, dummy items right here. But that's not too bad. Overall, I'd rather have this compared to the redstone stuff like that, because that would be a bit more difficult to build up, which is why I modified it a little bit to have this extra observer and slime block here. That way, this observer right here is the one that is pulsing this one, and not a filter, in a sense, over this side. With that could cross power each other and things like that. So overall, this one's a lot better, in my opinion, if you want it to be ease of building. And survival, of course, that's, you know, the main goal of this area in the first place. But yeah, so 16 game tech clock, which is this thing right here. And I also added a on-off switch per crafter. That way we don't have to worry about filling up and things like that. So one thing to keep in mind if you were to use this yourself, this will be available in the public archive of the AutoCraft Discord if you wanted to get their hands on this one with the AutoCrafting, if you needed to use that. If not, definitely go check out Illyrio's video. They have these schematics and things like that world download if you need that too, for the original farm with just the pure shulker box loaders. But one small downside when I turn the farm on for the first time, you're going to want to turn this lever on, wait about 5 minutes, like the sign says here, and then click this note block. This note block is just like a global lock-in for all the crafters, because you need the buffer to be filled up, pretty much, for this to get started. I would definitely wait until you see a majority of, like, a full constant stream of, like, not like that. You want to get it full constantly. Like, that's why I said the 5 minutes, and then you should be good to go with it, and everything's going to be filled up. That way you're not going to risk running out of stuff upon startup, because that could create some issues. Say, for example, any one of these hoppers doesn't get enough stuff, it will automatically turn itself off. But if you have it like that, because it's only taken the output from a single hopper here, it could run into some issues where one side doesn't have enough. So if you wait the full 5 minutes like we've tested right now, you are good to go. And even if you're going to start it the next time up, I would still wait the 5 minutes before you start the crafting part. That way you just know everything is filled up. I guess one of the modifications I could do is actually just have a 5 minute counter back here. Maybe I can try to do that. That way, you know, once that's done, then you can go, but pretty much it's the same thing as that. Gotta remember that, which is what the sign's there for, hopefully. But yeah, those are all crafted into snow blocks, sent down into the water stream down here, where they are funneled into this 1x1 here, and then funneled up this water stream. I basically didn't put any soul sand or anything like that for the item transportation because I wanted the material list to be as clean as possible, and we don't need to worry about the item lifetime because this thing is already like 3 ms on the server to begin with, so it's not going to be that big of a deal. If you wanted to, you could put a soul sand right there, soul sand right there, but it's not really needed. There's already a ton of entities, so having a little bit of speed right here isn't going to be the best thing. What also happens here is that these items get clumped up, so they're already in less item stacks anyway, so overall it's still pretty good in terms of the performance. And then these are fed into a couple of full 8x hopper speed shulker box loaders by Enter, I believe. And these are the original shulker box loaders that are attached to Illyrio's one as well. If you wanted to use those, these are also one of the best 8x shulker box loaders I've ever seen. Also extremely compact. It looks a lot more difficult to build than it actually is. But yeah, and then those get shot up here, and I made a whole UI here for the output and stuff like that, so you get your output on either side. This isn't obviously, the most highest storage you could if you wanted to raid this up a little bit, but then you gotta be careful of the farm itself, so kept it pretty low. This is able to hold around about 1 million snow blocks, so this will technically fill up in about 4 hours of running the farm, but you're not going to be running this farm for very long to begin with anyways, and I think 1 million snow blocks is more than you're ever going to need. But yeah, enough rambling. Let's actually build this thing in survival, because I think we're good. These honey blocks here were my markers for the crafters that broke with the initial test that I did, obviously didn't change. So my guess is because it was the same one, as you can see here, this slime right here, and this slime right here. My guess is it was a pacing issue because it was only those ones on all of the outside ones over here. So that's my guess with that. So, and it looks to be like that because we're still good, and it's been about 30 minutes now since I've started this test up again. And we seem to be good to go. And that way we can actually start making it in survival. So yeah, enough rambling. Let's get on to that. We'll get this area done. That way we can actually use these blocks for the decoration because we do need quite a bit of that. Alright, so we are back here, and the full perimeter is done, including the crafters in the center with the farm and everything like that. But yeah, this farm was definitely interesting to make. The snow golems, obviously very, very easy, just repetitive. The minecarts, however, yeah, just to say at the very least, I will never make this farm again. Hopefully I never have to make this farm again, because this was absolute pain to make for those minecarts. I think there's 56 minecarts per farm here, so if you're doing a single module, that's not all too bad, but all 4 of them, it's a bit much just because of the process that we had to sort of figure out to make. Obviously, because it's not really like a known farm and the creator doesn't have like a video on how to make it, it's kind of difficult to sort of get a rhythm down for it. But eventually, Mix and I actually figured something out that worked. So we worked our way from the back here to the front near the courts first, and then to the back, and we had these slabs up higher. That way we could still break the rails down below, and then we had to push it down, and it was a whole process. But they're done, they're in there. And the farm has worked absolute wonders. I think we have over like 700,000 snow here, close to it. Yeah, we're close to about 700,000 snow blocks here, which is really good. So we use this for a lot of decoration if we needed to, because as you can see in the decoration here, the snow is like the pure white. And the concrete is like, white concrete. However, snow is like that pure white. So we could definitely use that if we needed some wall decoration. Obviously for the floor, using snow or white concrete doesn't really matter, because on a matte POV, it still has that same color. So obviously it's cheaper for us to use white concrete for the most part. just because concrete's a little bit easier to get most of the time. However, this farm will make 300,000 snow blocks per hour, so it really just all depends what we want to actually use for it. And if we want the thing here to look a little bit better compared to that. Honestly, if we would have used snow for Olaf instead of the white concrete, this might have looked a little bit better in person. But I think it looked overall pretty damn good with the iron blocks as that darker accent white. That way you kind of have a, you kind of see it and it kind of breaks it away from the snowflake, which has the white in it as well on that side. But yeah, overall, I loved how this area turned out. So yeah, overall, this area I think turned out pretty good. Kind of reuse some of the ice farm pillars that we did before, based by Happy. So Happy did, of course, help out with this ice spike right here. I talked with them a little bit, and they were nice enough to come on the server and help out with the little part right here. But yeah, overall, I like how it all ties together, even though it's somewhat ice-themed for the most part. We still have the snow aspects, which the background definitely helps bring in the white color of the snow out just a bit more than the ice is everything there. But yeah, this is my favorite view right here. I think I have an extra screenshot that I will post here if it's not already used for the thumbnail. Yeah, this area turned out really well. And overall, this thing didn't take too long at all. I want to say about a week or so, and we were fully done with this area. So huge thank you to all the members that helped out with this. Of course, Rubik, Mix, and all those guys that are one of our highest grinders and things like that besides myself on the server here, helping get this thing fully done in such a short time frame. That way you guys have it out for the video for December. But yeah, besides that, that's it for today. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those sorts of things, and I'll see you in the next one.